Good evening, wild campers. Welcome back to Land Solo channel with Tony. So tonight we're off on a cheeky little wild camp to one of my favourite spots, which is back on the Pembrokeshire coast path. It's a beautiful evening. The time is 20 to 6. Just parked up. Just going to do the walk in now, and I think you're going to like this spot. It's a classic. Well, welcome back. Camp has been struck, and I bought the Durston X-Mid 1 person solid this time, and I've got to say it, the old Durston's hard to beat. This one's seen some battles with me. Has got a little bit of battle damage, I'll show you in a minute, but it's a cracking tent. You got to hand it to Dan Durston. This is the version 2. I love this tent, and every now and again, although I like using my other tents, I'll get this one out and it just reminds me why it's such a good tent. So I'll show you camp. So here she is, all set up. Got perfect conditions. I'll show you a couple of little mods and things that I'll do with this tent, but got a few mods and things going on. But yeah, I'm not on the most level ground as usual, but it's pretty soft. I'm on a bit of a downward slope, but that's okay. It's not actually too bad. I've lain on my mat just to check it, and it's actually all right. I should be able to sleep okay on that. So a couple of mods that I've done with this on both sides. You can see at the top here, but I've put some bungee cord, and I use one of the many carabiners I've got on me, and you can just hang your bag off it and keep that nice and tight standing up, and that works really well for me. I've got both. I've got one of these cords on either side, so that works really well. I've put, as well as having the ridgeline cord, I've got these little bungee loops here, which I use for keeping them tidy. So that when I pack it away, that makes it nice and easy, because they do get tangled up, those ones. I've got at both ends, so you've got the bungee cord here for tidying it up. That's an idea I pinched off a Nor tent, so thanks for that idea, Nor tent. It's a great idea. So coming around to this side, the other thing I do is, if you get the good old-fashioned kitchen clothes peg, you can, if you can see that, but you can roll up the inner and the outer in decent weather, and you can just have them cinched together like that, and that keeps both of them out of the way. So you've got a nice, you've got those out of the way. I always carry a couple of pegs on me anyway, so just like that down here. And yeah, and the other thing that I always bring with me, I've mentioned them before, but I always like to, because I've never seen anybody else using them, and I just don't know why, is these old favourite, the old Chinese corkscrews. They weigh 19 grams, so they're not too bad. I'll put them on all 4 corners, because if this tent's going to come down in the wind, it'll be one of the corners that goes. I've never had one of those pegs fail on me yet. Maybe tempting fate, but I just carry 4 of them. Once you screw them in, and they're great for all sorts of different types of soil. I carry the lightweight, the big carbon nails as well, but those corkscrew pegs, they are tremendous, and they're cheap as chips as well. 11 quid for about, I don't know, about 8 of them, something silly like that. So I always recommend them. Yeah, so I'm all set up. I've got my chair on the back downwards. Something else I've not seen anybody else do, and I'm not saying I'm anything special or anything, but it just surprises me, because you know, you don't always want to be sitting fully up, and that's nice and comfortable, and you can cook very nicely sitting in that. So and in sitting your tent in it. So I know you've got the ground chair, which basically is a very similar thing, but you can have the chair 0 and have the proper height, and then also have that. So that works pretty well, and this looks like it's going to be my kitchen for tonight. So yeah, that's a nice little space for cooking there, so I can sit on a rock on the side there if I want to, or I can just put my chair down. I can sit and cook nice and comfortably there. So I shall start getting set up for that. In case I never mentioned it before, that's full power and that's a simmer ring. Something I forgot to mention when I've shown this before. That does actually burn a lot quicker when you've got the cone set up. Will boil water a lot quicker than when that's got on there. There is quite a significant difference, but for cooking that's perfect. In case you're wondering, tonight's delicacy is chorizo egg fried rice with some onions and some coriander thrown in for good measure. To be fair, I am very much a chuck it in the pan and see what happens kind of guy. So I don't know how the coriander's going to go with this, but I love coriander. I like all the rest of it, so why not? And obviously a bit of a Gordon Ramsay touch there with the red wine, obviously, or Floyd, depending on how old you are. Actually, I'm more with Floyd, to be fair. Yeah. And for later on in tonight's exciting episode, I have got some very good news. Good news for me anyway, and my family. But yeah, some exciting news to come later on, and I'm going to do a bit of a fireside chat, which I'm going to start doing from now on, just because I can, really. Dark soy, sesame oil, and MSG. Got to take that off for a minute. And there we have it. And I'll sprinkle some coriander on to garnish. Because I can. And job's a good one. I'm just going to polish this off now, and I'll let you know how it goes. So, I've got to say, even if I say so myself, that was tremendous. There's the pan. Barely a grain of rice left. And the coriander worked tremendously. Now, obviously you need to like coriander, and I do, but it just worked really well. Just made a nice complement to the taste of the rice and the onion and the chorizo, however you want to say it. Absolutely tremendous. So I will definitely do that one again. What I'll do now is I'll just show you the view that I've been blessed to have at the moment on this absolutely tremendous camp. I've never known it to quiet here. There is not a breath of wind, which is very rare for the Pembrokeshire coast. And I'll just scan you around. Just give me a second. I've gone into single lens mode, and I'll just scan you around so you can see how I'm blessed. Now, in case you're wondering, I think the sun's going to be setting over there. Just a wild stab in the dark, but just scanning round, and there's my trusty old X-Mid up there, and just look down a bit. So yeah, there's even a beach just over there. So not too shoddy at all. So I've just been joined by some paddle boarders who are just the other side of those rocks there. That's how calm it is. Normally the waves are smashing against those rocks. There you go. By the way, it's so nice here that I've taken my legs off and my trail runners, dare I say it, the only time you'll ever see me wearing them in this weather, and socks, so I can do a bit of grounding. And if you don't know what grounding is, I recommend you look it up, because we're electrical beings, and when you walk barefoot, it's fantastic. Walk on a beach in bare feet and tell me how bad that feels. Or on soft grass, you always feel better afterwards. There's a reason for that. But anyway, I digress. But that's how pleasant it is today. I only wore my legs, which I've chucked over there, because I had to go through some gorse and I knew my legs would get ripped to bits. But one thing I ought to mention, these are Decathlon Simmond hiking trousers. Are tremendous. You can get them for 40 quid, and not only do they zip around the leg, but they zip down, so you can take them off when you've got boots on, no problem. And they're so comfortable, and they're such a bargain. You know, you don't have to spend £100-200 to get decent hiking trousers. These things, I live in them basically, even when I'm not hiking and wild camping, and they can take a beating as well. So I definitely recommend them. I think they're MT 500s or something, but you'll find them if you look for zip off trousers. They are just absolutely tremendous. You know, I don't bother looking for anything more expensive. These are more than good enough. So yeah, just another tip for you there. So right now I'm going to do a bit of cleaning up. So bear with me and I shall be back in a bit. Okay, right, as you can probably imagine, the sun has descended below a bank of cloud on the horizon, so it's brew times. This time of day I have a brew, and I'm going to show you how this 3FUL little cooker goes with the cap off. Now, you've probably seen those sci-fi films where the spaceship goes too close to the sun and gets burnt up, and it's just everything, it's just like goes orange and vivid yellow and orange, and then that's the end of that spaceship. It's a bit like that when I light this. So how powerful this thing is. So let's see. So let's see, I've taken the top off. Let's see how this goes. Assuming I can get it lit, obviously. Oh, there we go. Right, and we're off. And trust me, this thing does burn quite a bit quicker than when the lid's on. And I'm really getting to love this 3FUL thing. It is a top bit of kit. And for anyone wondering, when I'm using this Sharpel and any kind of thing, you're seeing sparks flying, you're thinking he's going to burn the coast path down, he's going to burn Pembrokeshire down. Trust me, it never gets that dry here. If I was up on the Preseli Hills in amongst the peat, you might have a point, but here, no chance. Right, let's get this brew going. So now it's been going, let's check it out. Now, if you're an old knacker like me, and you're born in the 60s, grew up in the 70s, this is like Towering Inferno. Check that out. Massive. Boil-tastic. And that's the other thing I like about it. It blows out really easy. So there we have it. Right, good evening. So I'm in one of my favourite spaces, the Durston 1P Solid. I've had a tremendous evening sitting out watching the sun go down. I've had to shift my big Agnes to one side just so I can put my chair down, just so I can just record this. But with this tent you can do that. You know, you've got enough room, so that's a positive. So bit of a fireside chat tonight. So first of all, I apologise if the sound's not fantastic. I'm recording this on a digital camera, which benefits from having an external mic, which I forgot. So I know the sound capture isn't brilliant directly on the camera, so but it is what it is. I'll have to check it. If it's rubbish, this won't get included. If it's okay, then fine. But it's quiet, so there is the hum of a boat in the distance. Can't see where it is, but there is definitely an engine sound in the background somewhere. But so if you can hear a distant hum, that's what it is. Anyway, I'll digress. So what's the good news? What's that I've got? Well, what it is, it's kind of self-driven, is I decided to retire. So on my 62nd birthday I shall be retiring, which is 3 months ahead of when my workplace pension is matured. I lose 15% of that, but I'm blessed to be in a position where I can afford to do it, so I'm going to do it. I'm not going to me time is worth more than money, so I decided to. I had a chat with the wife. She understands. I've done 41 years with, or will have done 41 years with the same company, plus but prior to that and alongside that I've done 26 years of military service, so I think I've earned my retirement, and yeah, I'm going to do it. So next year, one of the first things I intend to do is get the Cape Wrath done while I'm still young enough to do it. And yeah, I know I'm carrying a bit of timber and all that at the minute, but winter is generally when I train anyway. When I train hardest, I find it harder in the warmer months than I do in the colder months. So I'm going to be training hard over winter, and I'm aiming to do the Cape Wrath late April, early May, God willing. So that's my plans. I should be retired by then. So yeah, lots to look forward to. I cannot wait. Honestly, it's your retirement date is a bit like your parole in a prison sentence, I can imagine. I haven't been to prison myself, I have to say, but if I had, I can imagine that's what it would feel like. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to spending more time with my family, and I'll definitely be out doing more wild camps and that. I'm going to be one of the old knackers still doing it as long as my health permits, and it's been good up to now. So yeah, I am retiring and I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm just counting the days now, so to speak. So yeah, I thought I'd share that for anyone who's interested. And before anybody says, well, you're lucky you can retire because I shall be 62 when I retire, you're lucky you can retire at 62. Luck doesn't come into it. I've been planning my pension since I was 21, and in fact I stuck with the same job for that reason. And no, I wasn't a civil servant, before anybody asks. So I worked in the private sector. So yeah, I have ground it out, and the time is coming, and I am absolutely looking forward to lots more adventures, and I'm trying to improve. I can hear that. Oh, I can see it in the distance now. I think it's a ferry. Sorry, I can just, that sound has got louder. It's just in the distance. There's a ferry, I think, right on the horizon to Ireland, no doubt, coming from Ireland. But so yeah, I've ground it out, and I've put myself in a position where I am able to retire. I'm not going to be living in the lap of luxury. I'm going to have a good few years before I pick up my state pension, which will then make my life pretty comfortable. So it's enough anyway. And so yeah, so that's thing. But the other thing I'm going to do, you may, for those of you who have seen my channel or seen my videos before, you may have noticed my profile picture has changed, and I'm also going to be talking a bit more about my faith and a bit more about Christianity now, before people start choking on their cornflakes or spitting their coffee out. I should say that I'm not going to try and proselytise as such. I'm just going to do a few videos, and it won't be that all the time. I'm going to do more fireside chats, but I'm going to explain what it's like to be a late to baptism Christian. So I'm a born again Christian. I was late to it in my late 50s when I converted, which, according to my pastor of the chapel that I go to, who is an American, bless him, is Jeff. If you ever see this, Jeff, hi. He's an amazing character, a reformed alcoholic himself. Yeah, I know he won't mind me saying that because he'll tell you. An amazing chap, and there's a few of us at the chapel who are a bit late in the game, and he will tell you that that's pretty amazing. He finds it amazing anyway. So because generally in America people come to faith when they're young or not at all. So he says, you know, we're a bit different over here. So I don't mind either way. You know, I'm happy with that. I'm happy where I am. But I'm just going to explain what it's like to be a Christian in the modern world, and how that works, and it's quite interesting, I can tell you. And it won't just be about that. I'll talk about other stuff as well, which I do like. I don't really do reviews as such, but I talk about gear that I use and stuff like that. So things that I like. And also I'm brushing up on my video editing, actual skills in terms of hopefully getting better footage, but also I'm teaching myself to edit video. I use an open source program called Shotcut, so I'm not doing it on my phone or anything like that, and I'm getting quicker at it, so the quicker I get at it, the better I am at, or the more likely I am to produce more videos. So yeah, it'll be a bit different compared to a lot of wild camping stuff, which tends to, a lot of it is either reviews or just people doing camps. Well, I'll be doing some of that kind of, but I'm going to just throw in some other bits and some other bits about my faith and how I see the world and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm working out how to YouTube chops things into chapters. So what I will try and do is enable it so that if people don't want to hear my thoughts like I'm doing now, fireside chat type thing, they can skip past it, and that's fine. I don't mind. I'm not doing it for money. I'm not doing it for anything. I'm not looking to monetize or anything. To be honest with you, this is more a kind of a captain's log for my grandchildren as much as anything, and for my family when I'm gone. Maybe they'll be able to look back and say, what was the old bugger like then? And they'll be able to watch these and say, oh, that's what he was like, you know. So it's kind of more, that's more why I do it for me. And I do enjoy a challenge and learning stuff, so there's a bit of that as well. And the challenges will come. I mean, the Cape Wrath, I'm under no illusions as to how tough that's going to be, but I've done enough long distance hiking to know what I'm capable of and know how to prepare. I've got a lot of military experience, so I know how to plan things and prepare things. So we'll see. I don't take anything for granted, but I am up for that challenge. So yeah, so watch this space come April. I've got coast to coast footage and stuff to get through to upload. One coast to coast failure, which wasn't, well, it wasn't lack of fitness, let's put it that way. There were other things that came into play, weather being one of them, but also injury. But there's a whole story after that as well. So I've got all that stuff to upload, and I just need to apply myself and sit down and do it. So yeah, and I might do some training videos in the winter, you know, because I do train in some pretty horrible conditions, and I actually don't mind, you know, when it's peeing with rain and it's muddy underfoot and it's dark and that, I'll go out, and that's when you do the hard yards, and I don't mind doing that. So I might do a bit of footage on that just to show people that if you're going to do through hiking and you're going to take it seriously, that's the sort of thing that you might want to think about. I find it harder to train in the good weather than I do in the bad weather, to be honest with you. So yeah, so that's that, and I've got some other tents and bits and pieces to review on that. So yeah, that's kind of it really tonight for a bit of a fireside chat. But yeah, so I'm retiring. One chapter closes, another one opens. Hoping to do a few videos and stuff and see how it goes. But I'm not, as I say, I'm not driven by likes, I'm not driven by subscriptions, I'm not driven by anything like that. If people find the content interesting, hopefully maybe a bit amusing at times and informative, then that's good enough for me. I don't set myself any targets on that. It's if I can produce videos, better quality, better storytelling, better footage, better audio, just better everything, then that's good enough for me, you know. And I think I am moving forward, so we'll see. But yeah, so that's it. I mean, I've done all my admin for tonight. All my pots and pans are cleaned up, brushed my teeth, done all the usual, and I think I'm going to settle down now, and I'm going to just listen to a podcast, and I might read for a bit actually. I've brought a book with me, so the book I'm reading at the moment is this. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know if the camera's going to focus on this. The light's pretty rank. Don't think it. Let me see if that'll work. Let me just touch the screen. See if that. Oh, there we go. Right. Okay. So I've touched the screen. So there you go. So it's I'll just get it focused back on me. That's it. So it's a book by Viktor Frankl, and it's called Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl is psychiatrist who ended up in Auschwitz, and I think it was Dachau, and basically in World War II, and he wrote of his experiences and what it took for people to survive. It's not a particularly thick book. It's quite thin. It's it's less than 200 pages, but it's very interesting. It's interesting to me because he wasn't a Christian, and it seems to me he did everything to not be a Christian, while observing other people using their faith to survive. It's a bit of a contradiction, I find. He's passed away now, so I hope he did find God in the end, to be honest with you. I don't know if he was he was obviously Jewish, but I don't know if he had faith in the Torah. But either way, I hope he had faith in Christ. But it's a very interesting book. I do recommend it, actually. It does make you ask questions on how you would cope in that situation. Essentially so far what I've come to understand is that the people who survived are the people who gave themselves a target, a goal, a challenge. Just might be a really small thing, just something to keep them going, and that's what he observed. I have actually been to Auschwitz, I should say, as well. It is a strange place. I know there's lots of theories and things about what really went on there, but I can say for sure, if you haven't been there is an atmosphere to the place, and you definitely wouldn't have wanted to have been a prisoner there, that's for sure. So quite fascinating for me as a Christian to read this, and because I do like to look at alternative views. I'll never not be a Christian, I can tell you that for nothing, but I do like to look at what motivates other people. And on that subject, when I do talk about my faith in Christianity going forward, which I will on occasion, I make no apologies for that. But one of the things I specialise in, if you can call it that, is what they call apologetics, which is defence of Christianity. So it's a subject I'm deep into and I'm deeply passionate about. So if anybody, if you are watching or listening and you've got questions or anything, then fire away. If I haven't got the answer, I will find it for you, because I always do find an answer. So that's an offer that's just open to anybody. If you're not interested, fine. You have free will. God gives us free will, so you can poo-poo it, you can ignore it. I'm okay with that. It saddens me, but that's individual choice. But if you have got questions, there are certain big questions that, as Christians, we know are coming. The questions that my wife had before she became a Christian, etc. So I know what people quite often fail to realise is pretty much every Christian was an atheist or agnostic before they became Christian, or a different faith. So we weren't born into it. We had to find it ourselves. So I'll just make that point. But anyway, it's food for thought. I won't bang on about it, but yeah, I am going to talk about it because it's a big part of my life, and actually wild camping. It's particularly solo wild camping, as I do it. It's a fantastic escape. It's a fantastic place. I can have complete peace and solitude. I can pray. I see a lot of people in the wild camping community talking about their mental health, and I have some strong opinions and thoughts on that, and on things that they can do to, and I will talk about that in another wild camp, in another fireside chat. But I have some opinions on that, and obviously my faith comes into that, because I've seen how it's rescued people with various afflictions, physical and mental. So yeah, I'll cover that on another thing. But anyway, I've rattled on enough. I am now going to settle down, have a quiet evening, and I shall bring you back in the morning. So, good morning. So what sort of night did I have there? Well, it was a 6, I think, really. not the best night. My own fault really. Pitch was quite uneven, but you know how it is, you make do. And I have had some good nights on this particular pitch in the past, but last night wasn't one of them. But I was comfortable, certainly warm enough. It was nice, it was lovely and peaceful, and yeah, it was fine. So I'm not going to grizzle about that. Woke up this morning, it's a blanket of cloud, but it's okay, it's warm. It was surprisingly damp last night, the inside of the Durston, as it does. I had quite a lot of condensation, nothing on me because the inner protects me from that, but this morning I woke up to a pleasant surprise, a sort of gentle breeze which has completely dried it all out. But yeah, last night it was noticeable. It was even damp on the outside. It was like I don't know, it was almost like a very fine sea mist had dropped. Didn't affect visibility, but it was making outside the tent, or dew fall I suppose, was made it. But yeah, that's all gone now, so that's fine. And as you can see, not the worst view you'll ever have from your tent in the morning, so I'm definitely not complaining. Just thought I'd mention one thing about this 3FUL cook set. So made me brew this morning. This is how fuel efficient it is. So that's a 100ml bottle. I have changed bottles. This one fits into the cup. The one that came with it doesn't, so I've changed the bottles. But this is 100ml, and I've used less than 50ml to have 2 brews and cook a meal. I think that's pretty impressive. I would say probably 40ml I've used. I mean, that's pretty impressive, I would suggest. Fuel efficiency is really, really good on this thing. So, and I do love the ability to have the simmer ring on or off, and just that little ring around the top there makes a hell of a difference. Surprisingly, that burns significantly with a larger flame, and that kit just keeps it beautifully for cooking on. So yeah, I absolutely highly recommend. If you're going to get it, definitely you can get this container without this alcohol stove, without the felt in. Definitely get the felt. It's well worth having, that is. And it doesn't, I don't think it even costs any different. So yeah, I'm having my brew before I pack down, so I'm just going to chill out for a bit, and I'll bring you back. Right, the other thing I'll show you is how it all packs down into this. I think it's a 700. It's called a Snow Rock Titanium, this cup. It's really good. I'll show you how it all packs into here. So obviously you've got your windshield or your cone. That folds in the usual way. Just tucks into there. Fits in there perfectly. Then what I normally do, and the only criticism I've got of the whole thing, and it's no deal breakers, this hasn't got a lid. So if you've got, you haven't burned off all the alcohol in it, all I do is I've got this dog poop bag. I just keep it in there. It stops any alcohol leaking onto anything else. But yeah, they could have put a lid on there, but honestly, I'm not going to get too excited about that. It's fine. I guess it's a weight thing. But so anyway, so I've now packed my fuel bottle, my shower pool, got my handle, my lips. All right, haven't finished yet. I've got my little measuring cup, right, and sometimes I use a titanium frying pan, which is not non-stick, so you need something to just clear the bottom out of that. I could probably cut this in half, but it's full size. That squeezes in there, and this little cup does go in there, so it's all in there. I can normally get it tighter than this actually, but let's see. So the lid actually sort of wedges on quite often, but anyway. So once you've got it in the bag, So that's a handle and everything in there. And what you do then, just tighten the bag up. Sometimes that lid does sort of wedge on. It's not on this occasion, obviously, because I've got the camera on. But anyway, you could put one of those X bands around it if you really want to. It doesn't, I don't get too excited. And there you go. Job's a good one. And all I do when I've got my frying pan, my non-stick frying pan with me, I just put that in sideways in there, and there we go. And there's got a really lightweight cook set there. It's not too heavy at all, that's my general cook set. But if I'm through hiking, I'll drop the pan. And there you have it. Up, ready to go. Another cracking wild camp in a lovely spot. Hope you enjoyed that. Another little view of Pembrokeshire, my back garden these days. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to. If you don't, that's all well and good by me. Get out there, get wild camping, get out in the fresh air and enjoy it. Don't forget to do a bit of grounding as well. Get those shoes and socks off and get your feet on the soil. But apart from that, as I said, thanks for watching. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you on the next one.